The Dragon Ball Legends Festival 2025 has so much potential right now. We've already had the part 1 and the part 2, but there still is the part 3, which we should be getting an Ultra. In this case, it should definitely be only one Ultra. But what that Ultra could bring to the game and events surrounding that Ultra could be a big deal. I might go as far as to say that this festival could end up being one of the best celebrations we've had in Dragon Ball Legends, depending on how they close out. And I really don't think it's ridiculous to say that. I'm not going to say the best outright because we've had some amazing celebrations. The 6th anniversary. But this festival could definitely be up there. We've already got the best part 2 we've ever had in Dragon Ball Legends history. The part 1 was good, not the strongest it could have been, but definitely still good. But this part 3 here, depending on what we get, the festival could go clear. But let me know in the comment section what you think about everything I've got to say once we get to the end of the video, or any thoughts you have even right now. Let's get into this. So I think a big discussion that should be had about the festival so far is that none of the units we've got have had new mechanics. We've had 4 amazing units, their animations are phenomenal, and the picks overall are great in my opinion. I don't think they've gone wrong at all. I think the biggest complaint people might have is the idea of Janemba being alongside Super Gogeta, given that Super Gogeta is doing most of the lifting, or as well, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, not necessarily the pick, but the fact that he's literally the best unit in the game, returning the idea of Gohan Ball Legends into the meta, which people blatantly dislike. It is a bit fun, I'm not gonna lie, if you do have Gohan, but if you don't have Gohan, it's basically an uninstall session, which is not great for the player base. But I think the fact that everybody feels good about the festival so far is heavily attributed to the unit picks and how they look aesthetically, but this wouldn't slide in other cases if the units weren't as valuable, because there isn't nothing new for the playing experience. Of course the units are new, but there's no new mechanics that we have to learn and figure out. It's just the same mechanics put together in a different way for a new kit that we haven't seen before, but there isn't actually something unique that is implemented into Dragon Ball Legends for us to discover. And I think that's why a lot of people feel like the festival isn't at its peak yet, but considering we haven't got that and we've gotten 4 Legends Limited right in 2 parts, if we get an Ultra in part 3, it's very likely that that Ultra will have a new mechanic. Now if we dive into what that mechanic could be, the conversation gets very long because there's a long list of units that I think could definitely be contenders for the 2025 festival finale. I'm gonna put out some options here just so you guys can put some ideas in your own head. I'm not saying any of these guys are 100% going to drop, but I just think it's reasonable for reasons that I'm not exactly gonna state. So let's go. Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku from GT, Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku from Daima, Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the Buu Saga, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the Dragon Fist variant, Vegito in base form, a base variant of Vegito. Also Gogeta in base form from the DBS Broly movie, and I'll go even a step further with Gogeta again, but the Super Saiyan version from the DBS Broly movie. These are some of the guys that I think are the most realistic picks to end out the 7th year, the Legends Festival 2025. I don't want to hear no comments about Ultra Broly. That guy is not legendary. They're not dropping him by himself to end out the festival. It's not happening. If there's no Gogeta, Broly's not dropping. And other antagonists as well. We just can't get an antagonist to close out the whole year, the festival at that, by themselves. It's just not happening. So the likes of Jiren not showing up, the likes of Beerus not showing up. But just dancing around some of the units that I did mention, there are a lot of mechanics and ways they can innovate the new Ultra if they picked any of those. And that in itself as an idea is a very exciting discussion. If you'd like to see a separate video of mechanics I think those Ultras could get, let me know in the comment section, as I would definitely produce that just to build up anticipation for the part 3 of the Legends Festival 2025. But to conclude the point, the general idea is that if they drop a new mechanic and the unit itself also follows the same aesthetically pleasing pattern that we've had so far in part 1 and part 2, and the unit is powerful, people would desperately want this unit and feel Dragon Ball Legends have really peaked once again. I hate having this conversation at this point because we've had it so many times, but this would definitely be a way to increase the bar for the festival 2025. The topic of a game originals unit. Now we've only gotten one premium game originals unit, but we did get some, you could say, prior to the festival 2025 starting. The manga characters, if you will. Goku and Gohan, they're not really game originals because they are Akira Toriyama drawn, but at the same time, there's no real animations for them, we shouldn't have a pink Nimbus in Dragon Ball Legends. So those manga characters, you can say they're game originals. Dragon Ball Legends doesn't class them as game originals. The episode they have is Dragon Ball, like OG Dragon Ball, and it says Dragon Ball 40th anniversary, but they are very unique in that sense. But back to the original point, we've only got one premium game originals unit, that being Goku and Bardock. Now their reveal and the hints going into it were very ambiguous. People couldn't even fathom what we was going to get. People were making predictions here, there, but really when we saw what we was getting, it was like, what the hell is this? It was a real big shock. And I think if they went the game originals route, there will be no prediction that could land it correct. And that's simply because the game originals concept as a whole has so much potential that if they went ahead and dropped something like that, you'd have a better chance of winning the lottery. That's how crazy it is. So it's almost a guaranteed banger if they went the game originals route. Obviously, assuming they drop a premium version, they could also just go ahead on the side and drop some of the story characters in high form. We could get a free-to-play Ultra on the side, that being Chalet, the fusion of shallot and giblet. I say Chalet because my English accent confuses the two between shallot and shallot, and I don't want to confuse you guys, so just bear that in mind. Anyways, the fusion Chalet is crazy good aesthetically. The design is beautiful. The Super Saiyan God form with a bunch of different pieces from characters that we love from the franchise. The scar on the face is symbolic of Bardock. The tail, it's the Saiyan's purest form, so you could take that as Goku in his younger days, or even Gohan, or just Saiyans that we've seen all around. The green attack reminds you of Broly. There's a lot going on with the Chalet design, and I think that's why a lot of people like it, and it is to be appreciated considering you can't get it in any other part of the Dragon Ball franchise. It's only in Dragon Ball Legends. But ultimately, if they went the Ultra route, everybody's gonna say wow regardless. If they dropped a free to play or a character from the story, people will also say wow or even finally. Simply, they cannot go wrong if they bring out their maximum potential, innovate, and put in a big bag of creativity for the Ultra, the part 3 of the Legends Festival 2025. This is off topic from anything quote unquote new they could release, but I think seriously, if they drop another variant of the Ultra Super Vegito banner that they dropped in the 7th anniversary, they get a 10 out of 10 for this festival. A lot of people wanted Ultra Gogeta Blue for the platinum equipment when we got Ultra UI's platinum equipment, and I think who they dropped doesn't really matter too much. We're in the timeline where we got Ultra UI, so we got to deal with it, right? But it's still very possible that we could get another one. If we look back at the 7th anniversary, we got Ultra Hits platinum equipment, but we also got Ultra Super Vegito, so there was 2. In this case, we have got 2 already, Ultra UI and Ultra Super Saiyan Goku. But the difference is Ultra Super Saiyan Goku is a free to play, so is it really fair to hold him to the same standard as the 2 that we got in the anniversary? It also does feel like we've got less content generally speaking at this current point. A lot of people are asking where the Zenkais are, where the platinum equipments are, and because of that, if they did drop another platinum equipment for an Ultra, if it was Ultra Gogeta Blue, I think a lot of people would definitely light up. Their eyes will be like, wow, I've got a summon for this guy so I can get him for free on the final step, just like they did in the 7th anniversary for Ultra Super Vegito. A lot of people would appreciate getting an Ultra for free, quote unquote, if that Ultra was definitely getting a solid buff that would make them a top tier contender in PvP. Ultra Super Vegito was doing top 5 things when he got his platinum equipment. Ultra UI damn near was top 1 in the game when he got his platinum equipment, so if they were to drop Ultra Gogeta Blue, I don't doubt that he would be a top tier in the game off a rip. And on top of that, if you could get him for free, quote unquote, people would literally love this festival. And that's the best way to go about it, to be honest. It doesn't have to be Ultra Gogeta Blue though. I just think he's the best choice for people to really feel like this is a great celebration. They've already dropped one Fusion Warrior at the part 1, but the Fusion Warrior team, you can say it's not really the best. But with UGB's platinum equipment, it's gonna be up immediately, while you could also use Sun Family at a high level, you could also use Hybrid Saiyans at a high level, you could also use Powerful Opponents at a high level, you could also use Future at a high level. There's a lot of diversity, and that's simply because everybody's overpowered, and that's interestingly good in this case. For the majority of the player base, there's no way you will have no one. You will have somebody, so you could run something, and this is one way to really solidify that, ending out the year 2025. But yeah man, that's going to be the end of the video. I'm really in a positive mood regarding the festival 2025 so far. I enjoyed part 1 thoroughly because they played it safe, and that's exactly what I wanted them to do. And in part 2, it doesn't seem like they played it safe at all. They just went overkill and dropped us 2 banger units. Goku and Hit, their animations are phenomenal, and then spawning out out of nowhere Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is just a major bonus that nobody could have predicted. There were some people that were saying we're gonna get a Gohan, but a remake just out of the blue, good job, man. It looks good, but we do need that new mechanic. Maybe take it a step further with a potential game originals and give us a little freebie that makes us feel like you've gone the extra mile. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.